So this problem looks pretty different, and in some ways it is pretty different, because if you started squaring things willy-nilly, you'd actually have some problems. What we have to do is get it so that it's just one radical on a side of the equal sign. Right now we have two radicals over here. I can't work with it this way. What I'm going to do actually is treat this kind of like, if I had something that said a minus b equals 0, and I then converted that to a equals b, you probably wouldn't have any problems with that. You see that I just added this chunk to both sides. I'm going to look at a problem like this in a very similar way, where this is like the a and this is like the b. I'm going to add this chunk to both sides. So that's going to give me something like the square root of 6y plus 7. And if I add this whole chunk to each side, which is awkward when you write it out, you get on this side a square root of 4y plus 13. So what I've done here is I've gotten on this side of the equal sign, there's just a lone little radical. And on this side of the equal sign, there's just a lone little radical. There's junk inside of there, but it's just a radical and just a radical. So the next thing is to get rid of that radical, and the only way to get rid of a radical is to use the appropriate exponent, in this case squaring. So I'll square this, and I'll square this, and that'll give me the square and the square root cancel. 6y plus 7 equals, on this side, 4y plus 13. This looks a lot friendlier. We're definitely used to stuff like this. I would recommend moving this 4y to this side first by subtracting it from both sides. That would give you the equation 2y plus 7 equals 13. Now to get this y by itself, we're going to go ahead and subtract that 7 and then divide by 2. So if I subtract 7, I get 2y equals 6. And then if I divide both sides by 2, we get y equals 3. So there appears to be just the one answer. However, I do need to take this and go back to the original problem and make sure that it actually works. Because this value for y, if I plug it into here and I end up squaring a negative number, there's no real solution, and we just put no solution. So we just have to make sure that this is actually going to make sense. If I take that, this is normally a mental thing you can do, but I'm going to show you kind of in red how it would look. If I were to plug 3 into the equation, I'd get the square root of 6 times 3, which is 18. 18 plus 7, I think, is 25, minus the square root of 4 times 3 is 12, plus 13 is 25. I'd get 5 minus 5. That equals 0, so that checks out. That's the answer. But the key is get a radical by itself, so you can get rid of the radical, and then solve using stuff you know, but then definitely check that answer against the original problem. Because you can do all your math correctly, and the answer can still be no solution, and you might not even know it if you don't do that. Okay, good luck.